Hey guys, how you doing? So my name's Siobhan Muir, and I haven't done one of these videos in a while, and nobody expected me to, and I got into this miniature making thing. I got a little kit. See, the do-it-yourself house, um, and uh, and I'd always wanted to do one of these things because I saw these things called book nooks on the internet, and they were selling them for about $245, and I'm like, I don't have that kind of money to just buy myself a little trinket. So I went and looked, and there was a whole bunch of these kits that you can do on your own, and I thought, well, I'm kind of detail oriented. Maybe I will do this sort of thing. So I bought this kit, and someone, and I posted the pictures of some of the things I built. See, here's this little curio cabinet, and the bed without pillows. The pillows are a pain in the butt, and I'm not going to do them quite yet. They probably will be the last thing I do. But so we got these little items that have been made, and then of course, in addition to some of these things, I also made the little items. Like, here's another shelf that has you can see that has some pots and a shovel on it, and gather up some of this other stuff down here. There's a plant which actually goes on this particular shelf right here, if I can get it to stand. Ta-da, like that. Oh, you can't see it. Ta-da. Like that. And and a little, and then books. I've got to have books in here. And a little piece of canvas that's actually going to go on the other piece. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of fun little things. Here's a newspaper clipping that goes on these things, and a little basket, a mesh basket, with rolls of decorative paper and some more little books. So yeah, so I started working on things like that, and I thought it would be really fun. And someone said, well, can you videotape you doing this? And I'm like, you really want to see me doing this? You want to see me gluing things together and stuff? Okay. So today what we're going to do is, see, I have this little thing about what to make where, and today we're going to do the little, as you can see, with the little shelf with the family, and then there's some books. And I think that's what I'm going to do today to make it short, because otherwise it might take way too long. So we'll do the little shelf with the family thing. Stuff you put on your walls, and then the two books, and maybe you guys will enjoy it. If you do, great. If not, I won't do it again. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to start gluing together the wood pieces that are for the little shelf. And as you can see, there are two side pieces that look like penguins, frankly, but we glue them up here on. Now the question comes, do you glue them, do you think, to the big piece, wait for them to dry, and then glue the top piece on, or do you glue the small ends to the top piece first and then put the whole thing on? I think I'm going to glue the side pieces, there are two of them, to the smallest, or the large piece on the bottom. Let those dry. I'll set that aside so it can dry, and then I'll work on the other things, and then we'll put the top on. What do you think? So you're going to need some craft glue. Originally, the sets came with this kind of glue, but this has since kind of dried out because Mirlet number 2 was building her miniature, and she didn't put a cap on it, and so it's ooey gooey and squishy, but it doesn't flow. So yeah. Anyway, so we have that. All right, so I bought myself some new glue, and this stuff comes out really fast, and you don't need very much of it. That doesn't mean it's going to not put very much of it. But so what I did is, see, this is an end of a zip tie. I use it to smear the glue on it, because then you can dictate how much glue you put on, and sometimes that's the best way to do it. Also, if you notice that my nails are different, I cut my right hand really short, because when you're doing stuff like this, you don't really want long nails to get in the way. So I left this hand. We'll see if it works any better, but we'll see. Anyway, we're going to start. So we have other things to do, but we are going to take the little side braces of the shelf, and we're going to glue them to the larger piece. So I'm going to get some glue, and I'm going to put it on the end of my zip tie. I know. Really technical tools. See, like I said, it comes out really fast, and you don't need very much of it. So you can put that on the bottom. Right there, and you see it on the bottom? Okay. Now I'm going to glue it and stand it up, and I'm going to get both of them on more or less before I do anything else. Of course, it's going to be difficult now. All right, there's one to start. I mean, it's not perfect yet, but I just want to get the glue on the other one so that we can get that started. Okay. And you will get glue on your fingers. Just be aware of that. That glue will get on your fingers whether you like it or not. And of course it slides too. Stand up. All right, so I don't know if you can see that. Do you see it? I got it more or less lined up. So you see the ends of it like that. All right, I'm gonna set that aside, because when you set that aside, it gives it a chance to dry and not get bumped by anything else. And sometimes that can be a challenge. So we're just going to leave it over there. All right, the next thing you're supposed to do is you're supposed to take, and again, I'm going to use my trusty dusty zip tie. and you want to take, see, this is the colored version, but what you're going to take is, it had you cut out 3 more because you want to thicken it. So you're going to glue these 3 things together. They're just pieces of paper, right? You're going to glue them together, and then you're going to glue that to this. So you thicken this thing like you would buy this at like TJ Maxx or Ross. It's a little decorative thing that says family. I'm good with that. But I'm going to use the zip tie, because using it will help me spread the glue. Ooh. And I know it seems weird to spread it on the outside where it says family, but this actually is going to work out better, because you want it to be, all there. And of course, you're going to get the glue on your fingers. The nice thing about the zip tie, though, is I don't care if it gets covered in glue. It's totally cool with me. All right, so I'm going to take another one of the family pieces of paper, if I can pick it up, and I'm going to glue it to the first one. And I'll line them up. The nice thing about the glue is it lets you slide things before it totally dries. So now I have 2 of them together. I know it looks a little weird, but it looks like, way to go, Siobhan, you put paper together. Nicely done. Yeah, exactly. All right. So then we're going to take that one, and we're going to put more glue on it and glue the next piece down. Like I said, it's kind of fun to do this. So I'm going to smear glue. I don't know if you can see me doing it, but I'm going to smear glue on this. Just glue it down. Set that aside. Grab the other one and glue it down. So now you have, I know it seems strange, but you have 3 layers of the black and white family. Again, what is it, a little display thing? I don't know what it's called, but you see them all the time at like TJ Maxx or Ross, and you can get these things and you can stick them up on a shelf. That's essentially what we're making here, right here. All right, now the last one, of course, is the one in color that you would see at that store. So we are going to glue the next layer down. Yay for layers, right? All right. And then we're going to spread this all together now. We'll live in a yellow submarine. Oh, wait. That's not what we're doing. All right. So there's that. Then I'm going to take this family image, and it's also made out of a thicker paper, and I'm going to glue it down to the other layers. In the end, you end up with kind of a somewhat thicker thing that will stay relatively stiff and therefore won't fold in half when you're putting it on your miniature, right? Okay, so I'm gonna press that down, and hopefully it dries relatively flat. Sometimes you might have to put something else down on it to keep the paper from curling when the glue dries. But there you go. So there's the family, that little decorative thing that you put on shelves. So I will set it right here so you can keep an eye on it. Sorta. Right there. Ta-da! And I will move our shelf a little bit so that you can see that too. It's drying. I'm not going to touch it right yet. All right. Also on this shelf, it was supposed to have 2 books. So we have a light green book and we have a dark green book. This thing has what looks like the back of, a spine of a book. So what you want to do is you want to fold this thing. It's kind of like origami. You want to fold this thing to fit that spine, so when you put the book together, it looks like a real book. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use my fingers for this. You don't have to, you can use like a pair of scissors or even an X-Acto knife to cut so the thing will fold right. But if you're really careful, you can do it with just your fingers. Just follow the edges. Kind of line everything up. And see, I folded it at the edge of the spine. And you unfold it. I know that seems weird. And you do it to the other side. Same deal. And you fold it again. So that you end up, see, again, I folded it right at the spine edge. See it? And then what you have is you have a book. You see the cover is folded like on the spines, and then it looks like this. Okay, so there's one. And then what you do is, see this thing, it's got a whole bunch of lines on it. Now here's what I've learned from doing this already for several books. What you do is if you score each one of these lines, it helps it fold exactly where you want it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take my pair of scissors and use it kind of like a pen, and I'm going to score these lines so you can see what I'm doing here. So you score the line. Just gently, you don't have to do anything exciting. Just score the line, because that'll make the paper really easy to fold. You know how many times I did this without doing this? Oh, boy, did I learn the hard way. It makes it a lot easier if you score the lines. And then I realized, right, we might want to do that. Score the lines, make it fold. And for a while there, I was just scoring half the lines so that they would fold a certain way. And then I thought, well, it can go either direction. Why am I not doing all of them? So there you go. That's why I was not doing all of them, because I wasn't paying attention. And then I made a mistake where I did, instead of doing every other line, I actually do 2 of the same ones. And I found out it folded a lot easier. And I'm like, oh, maybe I should square all of them. See how we learn. Okay. So then you just fold in a accordion pattern. You fold each one on the line. Right? Because the idea here is to make a little book. Okay, so it won't be individual pages like in a regular book, but it's a lovely approximation. And it's pretty easy. Okay. I know. We're just folding things. It'll be fine. We're just folding things. All right. Now on the way this paper is folded, you can see that these are the black lines. My suggestion is put those toward the spine of the book so it covers it up, so it looks like just regular pages on the other side. That's another thing that I learned while doing these little bookie poo things. I know, they're little bookie poos. Why? Because they're tiny. Okay, so then now you've got the book, and it, like I said, it looks kind of like an accordion. You see? Okay, so you take your trusty zip tie and you put a little glue on it. Or a lot of glue, as the case may be. Don't forget to put your lid on your glue, otherwise it gets kind of tacky and sticky and does something stupid, like dry out, which is annoying. So annoying. And I would put it on the actual pages of the folded paper, not on the book cover, okay? It just makes it easier to manipulate. So I glued those ends. And then what you do is you take this little book cover and you stick this thing right in there. See? And then wiping up the excess glue, because you don't want it to stick the pages together, right? The idea is to have pages. You just squeeze. Oh, it's sliding. Hello. No sliding. Not allowed to slide. So you squeeze it gently. Gently. A little Princess Bride reference there. And then you have a little book. See? And if you'd like to keep the book from getting, from unfolding, take your tools that are heavier than the paper in the book and lay it on the book so that it smushes it and it reminds it that it wants to be folded. Okay? All right. So we're going to do the same thing with the second book. This one's dark. That was the first one with the light cover. But we're going to fold it again at the edge of the spine. All right. Ta-da. And then we're going to fold it again on this edge so that you end up with a, oops, you kind of want to keep it as straight as possible. Sometimes it won't fold the way you want it. But you want to keep it as straight as possible so it looks like a real book. All right. And then you have a little book. There's actually a picture on these things, but they're so small that I can't tell what they are. It reminds me actually of the Beatrice Potter books, you know, the Frog and Toad and stuff like that, but I can't tell if that's really what they are. All right, then what you do is you score the page lines. And this thing is starting to dry, so we'll do that last. There's a hole. Let's not make a hole in our book. This table that I'm working on is older than I am. That's how long it's been in existence. I think it was my mother's craft table when I was a baby, and it has been passed on to me. So that's why this thing is so old. There you go. All right, time to fold it. So, follow the score lines, even if it doesn't want to, because it's being ornery. Oh yeah, it's being really ornery this time. Scoring it makes it easier, but it doesn't make it perfect. You sometimes have to manipulate it a little bit. And that's okay. That's what making these things are. It's a little bit of practice doing this little stuff. And little is the opposite word, or the operative word. Not opposite, operative. Large would be opposite, but okay. All right, so now we have, now we have our new accordion thing. Again, I would recommend putting the black lines that are on this side into the cover so that you don't see them. That's just what I recommend. There's no right way to do this. I just, I don't want black lines on the ends of my books. Now, some of those books, you remember they used to have gold. People would paint gold on the edges of the pages, and so the whole thing would look gold. Yeah, this is not the case. So, all right, open my glue again. And my cat was sitting in, this time I'm going to do it in the book cover, I think. My cat was sitting in the window blind because the sun has come out, and he just jumped off of it, and I'm just like, clunk. Damn, cat. That would be Boots. My gray kitty Boots. I have a black kitty too, but the black kitty is smart and has run downstairs to sleep in the cool. All right, so we're just gonna stick this baby right in here, fold it on up, and once we get the glue off of it, squeeze. It sounds like my trainer. Squeeze those muscles. Squeeze them. Right. Squeeze. And be sure to rub the glue off your fingers. Oh, the cat. You can't see him in the camera, but he's laying on the floor. Looked over and there he was. All right. So then you have book number 2. Look at that. So cute. Little tiny books. And again, I'm going to set something on top of it so the darn thing will smush. Smush. Smush, I tell you, smush. All right. So now we've built the books and we've built the family decorative piece. Ta-da. Now we're going to finish the shelf. And I'm pretty happy with the original bit. Okay, so now we're going to glue the top. Now, when I do this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually put the glue on the struts rather than the top bit, because then I can see how I want it lined up. And this thing should be flush, so you don't have to worry about it sticking out over in any direction. So, put that there. We're going to put the lid back on my glue so it doesn't dry out, because why not? All right, and we're putting the glue, if I can get my finger out of the way. Put the glue on the top there like this. Then we stick this on there like that. And I'm just going to hold there for a little bit so that it puts it where I want it. There we go. I think it's pretty well lined up. Ta-da! Little thing. So there's no back on this, because of what you're eventually going to do is glue this to the wall of your little room. But what you're supposed to do is you end up putting, like, the family thing will lean up against the wall, right? Like this. Ta-da! And then you'll put the books in there too. But, of course, we want to wait for this thing to dry. So yeah, so that's how easy it is. I mean, well, easy. It's just very meticulous and little bits like that. I hope you enjoyed it. We're going to let this dry. Hopefully that lined up pretty good. Like, stay. Yeah, so that's how you build little books and a little family decorative item, and then a little shelf, as you can see, like that. So thanks for joining me. Hope you enjoyed. We'll see if I do this again, but nice to see you, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.